All right, everyone. I'm like super energized today. Here it is. It's the middle middle of October. Normally, it's like 50 degrees in the morning. It's like 75, high humidity right now. Feels like a fucking jungle. I love it. By the way, it's probably the last nice day, unfortunately, before next spring. So I've actually got the window open and shit. We got to talk about Nikki Haley though. She's offered her resignation. It's been accepted. Now, when it was first broken as a story yesterday by Axios, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. A few weeks ago, they did this with Rosenstein, and he hadn't actually resigned or been fired. And so it was a media circus. So I took it with a grain of salt. But like 10 minutes later, it was confirmed. The White House is making an announcement and stuff. So Haley's out. Now, while this is an important shakeup, I'm not sure it's a bad thing. Some people are like, oh, another Trump admin official leaves. Yeah, but Nikki Haley was like a neocon warmonger. So she's like, a Cold Warrior. Not exactly, it seems, in lockstep with Trump's own foreign policy. Now, he said, I think, that she told him 6 months ago she planned to leave at the end of the year. Because she's resigning effective then. She's not leaving right this second. I don't know if I believe that. He might have been blindsided, or he may be forcing her out. In which case, he'll probably do what he's done probably with other people, which is give her a lucrative sort of send-off. Like with Omarosa, I still believe, with all my heart at this point, I believe Omarosa was paid by Trump to leave and pretend to attack him, distract everyone, keep him in the news for a few weeks, and then, sort of take her money and go. Bannon, I think ultimately, you saw at the time, remember that Bannon appeared to dislike Trump shortly for a very short period of time. And then he went back right to, well, we need to back Trump. Populism is great. And it was very funny, and it was kind of obvious. It was probably coordinated. So you can expect the possibility that Nikki Haley will immediately go on a media blitz after the year is up, and just say, oh yeah, there's dysfunction in the White House. Here's a leaked recording of Trump taking a shit or something. You could end up getting something like that. Weirder things have happened. We're in the tabloid cycle of politics right now. It's almost like, the editors of the Inquirer are running the country. Now, this makes for some very, very fun times, and has actually led to some great successes in foreign policy. The economy is going well, so I don't know. I don't care. I guess tabloid editors and people involved with wrestling and pageantry and stuff are better at running the country than a bunch of lawyers. Who would have possibly guessed? But Nikki Haley's just a generic neocon. She had called Trump like a scumbag a few years ago. Like, before she was brought aboard to be ambassador to the UN, she fucking hated Trump. And so it was really funny to see her have to, bend and kiss ring. I don't think they ever really got along on all policies, and sort of. It seems that Trump was more or less using her as a way to disgrace the UN in many cases. Saying, basically, we're the United States, we're basically going to ignore you. We're going to conduct some drone strikes, which, by the way, I oppose. Have a little bit of warmongering, but also a lot of isolationist rhetoric, which the latter I agree with fully. I think we need far more of it. The fact that we withdrew from that treaty of whatever it was with Iran, amiability or something, that basically unofficial friendliness with Iran that never actually happened anyway. It was very funny. Bolton comes out with his walrus mustache to play warmonger, and everyone freaks out, and it's like, well, fuck it. Fuck it, Treaty of Amity or whatever it was. Nikki Haley being out is a good thing. Now, there are some names being bandied around. Some people are saying, well, Kanye West is going to be ambassador to the UN. While I think that would be hilarious, I don't think so. I think he's got bigger concerns, like raking in billions of dollars from, all of his weird business ventures. I can't imagine he would want to take a pay cut and waste his time talking to a bunch of people that would hate him. I don't think that's a good idea. Trump's way of doing things, in some ways, is to find people who used to be quite vicious towards him, and I think give them a lucrative position in order to try to swing them over, number one, but also to be able to remind them if they ever step out of line, hey, remember when you used to gun for me? I beat you, there's a reason for that. Shut the fuck up and do what I tell you. I think that he likes to micromanage to some extent the basic policy. And then within that framework, people have full autonomy, obviously, but I think he likes to keep things a little bit close in and sort of huddle with people on a regular basis. And you see, and this is the part that I do agree with in the legacy media's sort of analysis of this. Her role was diminished in the wake of Bolton and Pompeo entering the Trump administration. Really, on foreign policy, they're the big ones. it's very funny because when Bolton came in, a lot of people thought that World War III was going to begin because you got this Iraq, Bush era sort of war con. Basically like the Halliburton dude, the Dick Cheney friend. You can imagine that he goes to Dick Cheney's birthday party. The Dark Lord Sith himself, Dick Cheney. A lot of you don't remember who that was. He was our vice president. Well, really, he was our president, and Bush was playing cowboy. But then when Bolton came in, even though I thought it was a terrible idea to have him anywhere near the admin, it very quickly became clear that it was probably meant to intimidate our enemies in the hopes that we wouldn't actually have to confront them. I think that's why Mattis was chosen too. Some people have said, well, Mattis will probably be forced out. Like sometimes he says things that go against Trump. He's a moderating force within the administration and probably the only person that Trump would be afraid to fire. Like physically afraid of, because, he's General Mattis. No, Nikki Haley being out's not a bad thing for the Trump administration. Not by a long shot. I think it's a wonderful thing. Hopefully the next person that's in there is like a Bannon, like non-interventionist, but also not fucking a warhawk. Because Nikki Haley, other than telling the UN to go fuck itself, has really done nothing else of any great note as far as what Trump was elected to do, which is basically keep us out of these stupid wars. We're tired of them. We've been at war continuously for a very long time. Since many voters at this point had been born. Since just after 9/11, we've been constantly on a war footing. It's unnecessary and really economically was a disaster for us. Despite some victories in some cases, you have more defeats than that. We crushed Libya. Egypt was almost crushed. Syria's basically laid waste to at the moment. We're still doing that. Yemen's been fucked up. Parts of Afghanistan. And so I'm not exactly sure what we've accomplished anywhere in the world, other than making ourselves look like bullies. Well, that's not good if you're trying to suppress militants. That's about all. Peace out.